And then when I was accepted in this juried show, and my painting was hung, out of 700 paintings that were submitted, 100 were accepted. And my one painting that wasn't even signed was accepted. That was definitely the beginning of my art career. And right then and there, I started having shows. And a lot of the people, the politicians and the people that were in the rum running and all these wonderful people that lived in Nassau were starting to collect my work. And so from that time on, I was having shows every single year. In 1972, having just gone through a divorce, I saw a demonstration by an artist by the name of Tom Hill at the San Diego Watercolor Society. And his subject matter was Puerto Vallarta, the bandstand, the church. And I thought, wow, this is a different Mexico. It's a different one than I really know. I only knew Tijuana, and it was not one of my favorite places. I certainly never thought I would ever want to go to Mexico until I saw that painting. And so I decided to take the workshop that he was giving in Puerto Vallarta. As a matter of fact, I shared a room with a young lady who was the wife of a heart surgeon. Her name was Nancy Fritz. And Nancy and I became really good friends, really fast. And Nancy invited me to meet some of her doctor friends who had rented Casa Lido in Puerto Vallarta. And she said, come with me. They flew down in their own plane. They brought some wonderful steaks, and they invited her for dinner. And she said, you come with me. I said, okay. So I did. And I met these lovely people. And it wasn't but 5 minutes. And this good-looking man arrived at the party carrying a bag of ice. And he looked at me. We got introduced. He looked at me and he says, I know your face from somewhere. And I'm like, you're right. I don't know your face from anywhere. After Michael found out why he remembered my face, I asked him, I said, now I want to know, what are you doing here? These are all surgeons from Tucson. How do you know these people? He says, I don't know them, but there were some other people staying here in this house a few days ago, and they came to talk to me about buying a condo. And Michael was building the very first condos in Puerto Vallarta. I had to make a decision about my life. My life, having just gone through a divorce, having 2 little children, and I could definitely see that I could be happy living in Mexico. My experience in Puerto Vallarta was just amazing. I'm going to bring my kids down here, give them a wonderful experience of learning Spanish, having different culture. And so I picked them up, put them in the car, and drove to Mexico. Michael and I were dating, and you know, the kids used to say, well, who's this man that's living with your mother? You know, it's a Catholic country. You know, they didn't approve of that. So Michael and I decided, well, why not get married? So we did. You know, at that time I had already painted for like over 10 years. And I had many shows in San Diego, became a charter member of the San Diego Watercolor Society, and I was, you know, starting to get pretty well known. And so when I arrived in Puerto Vallarta, there was an artist by the name of Manuel Lepe, and he was a primitive artist, became very well known, and he and his wife Laura ran a gallery, and so they invited me to show my work at the gallery, and that's how I started having exhibitions there. So I've been in Puerto Vallarta, I've been a professional artist in Puerto Vallarta for 46 years, and I have had annual shows, never missing a year. Puerto Vallarta started becoming crowded. You know, it changed a lot. And so after, you know, following the coast, we ended up in Sayulita. And Sayulita was charming. I mean, Sayulita was small. It had just dirt roads, mostly native people on horseback, The beach was covered with fishing boats. It was a very active fishing village. And we kind of both fell in love. You know, the town was just built around the center, and there were not a lot of tourists. There was nothing there. For most people, they would not have liked it because there was like one restaurant, El Costeño, that's still there in business today, was there, and then one grocery store, no bar, no ice cream parlor, no telephone, no television. So we moved to Sayulita and just loved it. It was just great. We were there for like 30 years and in Sayulita, and we saw tremendous changes in Sayulita. And actually, what happened was, you know, a lot of people used to ask me, well, where do you show? Where's your studio? And I said, well, it's in Sayulita. But how can we find you? And they said, well, I have no phone. So I decided to have open studio every Wednesday. So from 1 to 5 o'clock, my doors were open. And I received sometimes as many as 80 people in one afternoon. People would make an excursion to Sayulita to come and see me. Then Sayulita became Pueblo Magico. Well, I'm not sure that really did Sayulita any good, because Sayulita became too touristy, too many people, not enough infrastructure. And so we decided again, well, let's move to San Pancho. And San Pancho, there was a development called Hacienda San Pancho. It was Felipe Tomé started the development. And I was there at the groundbreaking ceremony with the Witch Hole Indians. And it was an amazing, I spent the day, it was an absolutely amazing experience.